Can I ask, where's Mom and Cupcake in this story? How proud are you of your mom today and daughter? Yeah. We have one final speaker before we get to the moment where we award the diplomas. And this speaker I met earlier today while I was washing my hands in the restroom, but I'd actually read about him a few days before. Mario, one of our assistant managers in the community, sent out an email blast to our entire staff about this incredible story about a student of ours out in the community that at 59 had been taking the GED and had been working at it diligently for quite a period of time. But there was a deadline coming up on him. On January 1st, the entire GED test changed. And there were 5 parts to the GED. And you could take each one of those tests at a different time in all the subject areas until you passed them all. The problem was, on January 1st, if you'd taken 4 of those 5 tests, with the test changing, none of those prior tests would count anymore. And you'd have to start all over with a whole new test. Well, this is where the value of our community partnerships come in. This student was persistent, kept going to school, kept studying. When he was ready to take his 5th and final test, it was like 5 days away from Christmas. All the GED centers were basically closed. Our staff found one center down in Mountain View that was still open. So his probation officer drove him down there with him and stayed with him while I took the test. He took the test and passed it. So, that gown probably feels good right now, and it should. We're incredibly proud of you. Please welcome Keith Kimmons.
In my whole life, I've never completed anything. I dropped out of high school. I've been to several trade schools. Never completed any of them. And I've been to 4 different drug programs, but never finished any of them either. I would get close to finishing, but right when it got toward the end, I'd get scared. I guess I was scared of being successful, so I'd sabotage myself. But at this stage of my life, at 59 years old, I stand up here and I can say, I have finally completed something. I would love to stand up here and hold everyone hostage and tell y'all about how hard it had been for me to work to get this. But to be honest, taking the test was the easy part. Let me tell you who really did the work. My teacher, Kathy. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. Thank you to George, my case manager. Who has always kept it real with me. Thank you. To APOD, who gave me a chance. Without APOD, none of this would have been possible. Also, a special thank to a lady I had never had the pleasure of meeting face to face. Her name is Kelly. And she works for 5 Keys. While I was still locked up in APOD, she was finding me locations to take the GED. As of January 1st, 2014, there is a new GED format that went into effect. That means all my scores I had prior would be deleted. So here it was, December 2013, and I've already had 2 different dates to take the test. But I didn't have an ID, or I was not released when I thought I was going to be, etc., etc. Finally, Kelly found me another spot, way out in Mill Valley, where they were still offering the test. It was the last test of this format offered, and I was the last person to get the spot after being on standby. But if I had to thank just one person, that would be Martha Stein. In order to take the GED test, I needed an ID, but I didn't have one. I was waiting for it to come in the mail. I was sitting at the cast and Martha saw this look on my face and asked what was wrong. I told her that I still didn't have an ID. 2 seconds later, this guy walks through the door and Martha talked to him. And after they got finished, he said, "Just have him come to my office tomorrow. I'll take care of it." On December 18th, the day before I was supposed to take the test, I saw Martha at the cast and said, "Martha, pray for me, what I'm going to do." And she looked at me and asked me what time should she pray. For me, I knew then everything was going to be all right. Because I know she's one of God's angels. I believe that God puts certain people in your life at certain times to help you. Even when it seems you can't help yourself. Every hurdle that I encountered, and believe me, there were many, someone would intervene. There were so many times that I wanted to give up. But one of these people that I just thanked would be there to intervene. They convinced me not to give up and work with me to figure out a way to reach my goal. There's one other person I definitely would like to thank, and that's my probation officer, Mr. Miller. He definitely went far beyond his job description and drove me all the way to Mill Valley on the morning of the test. Last but not least, I'd like to thank me. After all, I did take the test. Thank you.
Wow. Today, wow. That was one of the best student speakers I've ever heard, ever. At this point, though, I'd like to bring up now Elise Graham and Mario Solano so we can award the diplomas. Thank you.